Basically, any book out there has a table of contents at the beginning of the book that outlines what you're about to read. So for example, in this table of contents here, it's on software, more specifically medical billing software, and you can see I have 103 pages. And beginning reading the book, you can see how to set up your computer before you use the software. And then the next step is to set up users so they can access the software. Then once they access it, the next step would be to define what they can see, what they can't see in the software, and what they can use and can't use. And then finally, further down is how do you actually use the software. So sequentially numbering it, it's on page 9. First set up your computer, and then you got the numbers, page 10, 19, all the way down. So the question becomes, if you don't know anything about the table of contents, is its usefulness. Well, first of all, you can go ahead and manually type this in, but I don't recommend doing it because Microsoft has a great way of inserting your table of contents by first marking throughout your document the words that you want to appear in it. Then once you mark it, it does a couple of great things. If those words get changed throughout the document, so for example, computer setup is no longer computer setup, it's just computer troubleshooting, instead of coming up here and deleting it, once I use Microsoft's table of contents, I can actually come in here and right click on it and update it. It will automatically search throughout the whole document, and if it finds anything different that you made changes to, like on page 9, the title here, computer setup, if I deleted setup, it would automatically update to just computer and troubleshooting. And also if I added pages, more pages before page 9. Instead of manually coming up here and typing in page 13 or 15 or guessing whatever page it's on, I can just right click and update that. And it'll automatically find what page this heading is on and update the page number over here. So very, very important, this table of contents and the ability to automate all this for us. So like I said, first thing we want to do is if you want anything to appear in the table of contents and be dynamically updated for us when we right click and go update, we need to go throughout the document and define and assign its heading styles. So up here, I've got my style group, and you want to watch the style training video if you haven't done so, but to give you an idea, another great feature of the table of contents is if I want to go to a page real quick, I can just hover over the page I want to go to here, or the title. I can just hover over the title and control click, and it takes me right to it, right to that page, page 7 here. So like I said, it's all about styles, if you got any, and it's going to be heading styles. So you can see when I click in this text here, it has selected heading 1. If I click in this text, it goes to heading 2. So those, I know, by default will appear in the table of contents because I've used the heading styles here. So for example, it's not just coming up in here and saying, I want this to appear in TOC or table of contents. It doesn't work because you can see when I click anywhere in there, it may look like a heading to you, but according to Microsoft, it's not using one of their styles. In fact, when I expand this box here, you can see it's assigned normal. It's actually normal with bold applied to it, so to not confuse myself, I'll select it and come up here and click on B for bold and unbold it. And then if I wanted to, I could select it again and say, you are now heading 1. Automatically, it applies the heading 1 style, and the heading 1 style default is Times New Roman size 16. Well, what if you don't like the heading 1 style by default? Because I know Microsoft, when you first open up 2000 Word, has some funky, font calibre, and it's got this color assigned to it, like a blue for heading 1 style. It's got all the spacing up above it. I mean, look, if you don't like it, when in doubt, just right-click and modify your heading 1 styles and say, look, you're no longer some funky color here. You're actually automatic or default, which is black, and then assign it bold, the different font size, everything. In any case, I'm not going to cover this because, like I said, it's in the style training video. I'm going to click cancel. You want to watch that. But I applied it here, the heading 1 style. So after I go throughout the document and apply my styles, then the next thing I want to do is insert my table of contents, and it will quickly scan throughout the document, find all my text that have the styles applied to it, more specifically my heading styles again, and you can see how many I've got in here, heading 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That looks great. Now, if you don't have more heading styles in here and you can't see it, again, you want to watch the style training video, but you can come in here and click on the expandable box for the styles, come down here and click on the Manage Styles button, and then go to the Recommended tab and be able to select the heading styles that will say to the right of it, hiding until used, and just say nonsense. Select it and click Show, and it will always show. Okay. Anyways, besides myself, you should be watching the style training video. Okay, so once I go ahead and do this, I want to scroll back up and I want to select a blank area to insert my table of contents. Of course, I already have mine in here, but let me quickly delete it for you so I'm at the same level that you're at. So delete. Okay, once I delete it, now I'm ready to go ahead and insert my table of contents. So I come up here on the References tab over to the Table of Contents group and click on my Table of Contents button. Now I have a couple of choices. I can use the built-in templates here, and this is the gallery. It gives you a little preview of what you're about to click. So if I click on this one, it's going to have the text table of contents and then actually my headings listed here. In the hierarchical structure, heading 1 is going to be out and indented, and as you recall, on I think page 7 it had about the book, so that would be listed with the leader over to the actual page number. So instead of using these pre-built-in ones, if I want more control and I want to customize and select what I want to insert into my table of contents, I'm going to actually do it manually and click on Insert Table of Contents. Brings up my little field here, and it gives me a preview of what's going to be inserted in so far. For example, down here I've got the From template. Well, what if I don't want that template? I could select something classic, and then it updates here and says, okay, this is what the classic looks like, but you have no leader that goes from your heading on, page 1 or 5, or in this case page 3, that leads your eye over from that heading to the actual page number, because that might get confusing. See, heading 3 is page 1. See how my eye went up there? It's all over the place. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the drop down arrow and choose a tab leader, so it leads my eye all the way over to the page number. And then the levels. The first level is heading 1. So if I just want heading 1 to show in the table of contents, I just click on the drop down arrow until all the others disappear, and I just have heading 1. Now that doesn't mean it's deleting things out of your document. It's just saying, look, out of all the headings you have in your document, headings 1, heading 2, heading 3 styles applied to text, I'm just going to show the heading 1 styles in your table of contents. Everything else will be left alone, but I'm just showing what's going to be in your table of contents. Well, I'm going to click up a couple of times because I like all my heading styles to show, and then when I'm finished, just go ahead and click OK. Of course, it's going to ask me, do you want to replace the table of contents? That's already been there. Yes, I'll click OK. And there we go. Automatically inserts it for me. Looks pretty nice. There's my heading 1 styles, then all my subheadings. And then, like I said, you can just Control-click to zip right to it. Bonus notes. I mean, really efficient, really nice. And then I can quickly make changes here. Okay. I'm going to scroll all the way back up to my table of contents to show you that I added this. I want this to appear in table of contents. Remember how I typed in the text, I selected it, and I clicked on the Home tab and I assigned it the heading 1 style? It added it. So great. If I want to make changes to it, I can Control-click, go right to it, and say, you're no longer heading 1. I'm going to assign you heading 2, and I'm not going to do some acronym here. Appear in table of contents. And it's still got it haloed around the heading 2 style, so I know it's applied to all this text here. And then all I have to do is go ahead and update my table of contents, which I'll show you in just a second. Something that I don't know if Microsoft 2007 is going to do, but they did in previous versions. Instead of assigning your heading 1 styles to what you want to appear in the table of contents, you can actually manually, without assigning a style, have something appear in the table of contents, like the word, I don't know, writing here. First you want to select your word and then hold down these keys, Alt, Shift, and the letter O. And what it's going to do is it's going to say, okay, this is going to be the entry in the table of contents here, and what level do you want it? The heading 1 level, the very top level, and all you have to do is click Mark, and it actually marks it. Because remember, Microsoft Word needs to identify what's going to appear in the table of contents. If it doesn't have a heading style applied to it, then it's going to come down here and say, look, mark it an entry with the coding that I recognize that I can pull it into the table of contents. Well, like I said, it doesn't work in 2007, and I don't know if there's an update or a patch or something that will fix this, but in any case, it's certainly there, and maybe it will be available later on. So what I want to do is I can turn off my codes now and go up to my table of contents. It doesn't automatically update it for me. I have to force an update by right-clicking and saying update the field. I can update the page numbers, so if any pages have been added, it'll just update all the numbers within the table of contents, or like I said, I'd make some changes in the text, and maybe if I added other and assigned other text different heading styles, or I removed it, I want to update the entire table, the headings as well as the page numbers, and click OK. And there we go. I want this to appear in the table of contents there. Whoops, you couldn't see it, but there we go. It dropped it from heading 1 to heading 2 because that's what I applied to that, this right here. And you can also see that when I manually added the word writing to the table of contents, it didn't insert it. So like I said, maybe there's something that I'm missing here, but more than likely with all my calls to Microsoft about Microsoft Word and Vista, in this latest release it was quite big, and it looks like they missed a few things. One little shortcut I want to give you is that if you have a table of contents in your document, and at the end you have your index on page, in this case maybe page 103, and you have tables of figures, you got all this dynamic text that's trying to keep track of everything throughout your document. Instead of right-clicking on your table of contents updating, then scrolling down to the end of your document, right-clicking on your index to update it, instead just do Control-A, it selects your whole document, then hit F9 on the keyboard, and that will automatically update everything throughout your document. So that way you don't have to right click on your table of contents, your index, and do all these right clicks. It'll update everything. Thanks for watching. Hey, as a quick reminder, if you like my video, please give it a thumbs up. You can also click on me and subscribe to my channel, get notified of the latest videos, and for only $2 a month, you can have access to all my Microsoft Office training videos.